For years, Hoda Kotb and Savannah Guthrie have been viewed as one of television's most trusted duos. Their chemistry on the Today Show wasn't just the result of years spent behind the same desk. It was built on genuine friendship, mutual respect, and unwavering support through life's biggest challenges. But in early 2026, that friendship faced a heartbreaking test unlike anything either of them had ever imagined. What began as Hoda's peaceful retirement quickly turned into an emotional return to national television when tragedy struck someone she considered family. As shocking events unfolded, Hoda made a decision that reminded millions of viewers what true loyalty really looks like. After spending more than 26 years with NBC, Hoda officially stepped away from the Today Show in January 2025. Her farewell wasn't about burnout or career frustration. Instead, it came from a deeply personal place. Turning 60 had changed her outlook on life. She realized that the moments she valued most weren't television interviews or breaking news headlines. They were the quiet mornings with her daughters, Haley and Hope, breakfast around the kitchen table, school activities, bedtime stories, and the simple routines that many working parents often miss. Her youngest daughter, Hope, had experienced ongoing health challenges, making Hoda's decision even more meaningful. She wanted to be present every single day instead of rushing from studio meetings to late-night planning sessions. Leaving the demanding schedule of morning television allowed her to begin a completely different chapter. She moved with her family to Westchester, New York, where life became calmer and more predictable. She also launched a wellness venture called Joy 101, hoping to inspire others to focus on happiness, health, and emotional well-being. For nearly a year, Hoda embraced a life far removed from the constant pressure of live television. But everything changed almost overnight. In early February 2026, devastating news reached NBC. Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, had disappeared from her home in Tucson, Arizona. The news sent shockwaves through the Today Show family. Savannah immediately left New York to join relatives and assist law enforcement as the search for her mother intensified. Suddenly, one of the program's most familiar faces was gone, leaving both viewers and staff deeply concerned. The newsroom quickly realized this wasn't simply another breaking news story. It was personal. With Savannah focused entirely on her family, the network needed someone capable of stepping back into one of television's most demanding roles at a moment's notice. There was really only one person everyone believed could do it: Hoda Kotb. Despite enjoying retirement and the quieter life she had worked so hard to build, Hoda didn't hesitate. She temporarily put her new routine on hold, left behind peaceful mornings with her daughters, and returned to Studio 1A before sunrise once again. The early alarms, the live broadcasts, the relentless production meetings, everything she had willingly left behind suddenly became part of her daily life again. But this wasn't about career ambition. It wasn't about ratings. And it certainly wasn't about making headlines. It was about standing beside a friend during what could be the darkest chapter of her life. When Hoda walked back into the Today studio, viewers immediately noticed the familiar warmth she brought with her. Her calm presence reassured both the audience and the production team during an incredibly emotional period. While reports about the investigation continued to dominate headlines, Hoda carefully balanced professionalism with compassion. She focused on verified information while making sure the program never lost sight of the human story unfolding behind the news. Every update reminded viewers that this wasn't simply another headline. It involved a daughter desperately hoping her mother would return home safely. During one especially emotional broadcast, Hoda shared why returning had never really been a difficult decision. She reflected on one of the hardest moments in her own life. When her daughter Hope had been hospitalized several years earlier, Savannah Guthrie had been among the very first people to arrive at the hospital. She hadn't come because cameras were present. She came because that's what real friends do. That memory stayed with Hoda. Now, with Savannah facing an unimaginable crisis of her own, Hoda believed it was her turn to return that same kindness. She wasn't replacing Savannah. She was protecting her. By taking over responsibilities in New York, Hoda gave Savannah something incredibly valuable: time. Time to stay beside investigators. Time to comfort her family. And most importantly, Time to focus entirely on finding her mother without worrying about television commitments. That decision revealed something audiences had long suspected. The friendship viewers witnessed every morning wasn't manufactured for television. It was real. Behind the bright lights, polished broadcasts, and carefully planned interviews existed two women who genuinely cared about one another beyond the workplace. Their relationship had been built over decades of shared experiences, personal struggles, celebrations, and heartbreak. Now, during one of the most painful moments either had ever faced, that friendship would become stronger than ever. As the investigation intensified, viewers began to understand just how deep the friendship between Hoda Kotb and Savannah Guthrie truly ran. For years, the Today Show had promoted itself as one big family. While many television audiences assumed that was simply clever branding, the events surrounding Savannah's family crisis proved that those words carried genuine meaning. Hoda wasn't back on television because anyone asked her to be. She returned because she couldn't imagine allowing her closest friend to face such a heartbreaking situation alone. During one emotional broadcast, Hoda opened up about the bond she shares with Savannah. She admitted that watching her friend endure such uncertainty was incredibly painful, and she wanted viewers to understand why supporting Savannah mattered so much to her. To explain, she reflected on one of the darkest chapters of her own life. When her daughter Hope experienced serious health complications and was admitted to the hospital, Hoda remembered feeling overwhelmed, frightened, and emotionally exhausted. Before many people even knew what was happening, Savannah was already there. She didn't wait for an invitation. She didn't ask whether she should come. She simply showed up. That simple act of kindness left an unforgettable impression on Hoda. Now, years later, when Savannah found herself facing an unimaginable family emergency, Hoda felt there was only one appropriate response. Be there. No questions. No hesitation. Just as Savannah had once supported her, Hoda was determined to return that same loyalty. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away in Tucson, Arizona, investigators were working around the clock. The disappearance of Savannah's mother, Nancy Guthrie, had become a major law enforcement investigation involving local authorities and federal agencies. As officers searched for answers, several disturbing discoveries raised even more concern. Evidence collected at Nancy's home suggested that something violent had occurred. Investigators reportedly found signs of a struggle, while surveillance equipment near the property appeared to have been disabled during the night she disappeared. These developments transformed what initially appeared to be a missing person case into something far more alarming. Every new update increased anxiety for Savannah and her family. Despite carrying unimaginable emotional weight, Savannah remained focused on helping investigators in every way possible. Friends described her as remarkably composed, but those closest to her knew the pain she was hiding behind that calm exterior. Back in New York, Hoda continued balancing her role as a journalist with her role as a friend. She carefully shared verified developments without allowing speculation to dominate the broadcasts. Her steady approach helped reassure viewers while keeping attention focused on the search itself. But Hoda wanted to do more than simply deliver updates. She wanted the public to remember that Nancy Guthrie wasn't just another headline. She was a mother, a grandmother, a friend, a woman deeply loved by her family. To help keep hope alive, Hoda introduced a simple yet powerful symbol. She began wearing a small yellow ribbon during broadcasts. Soon, other members of the Today Show team followed her example. Before long, nearly everyone appearing on camera wore the same ribbon. It became a quiet but meaningful reminder that an entire community was standing beside Savannah during the search. The message spread far beyond Studio 1A. Viewers across the country began tying yellow ribbons around trees, fences, front porches, and neighborhood landmarks. Photos poured in from families wanting to express support. Local businesses joined the effort, while social media quickly filled with messages encouraging Nancy's safe return. What started as one small gesture inside a television studio grew into a nationwide display of compassion. Hoda also encouraged producers to place yellow flowers throughout the studio. The bright colors subtly changed the atmosphere on set. Rather than allowing fear to dominate every broadcast, the flowers symbolized optimism, friendship, and hope. Even during difficult conversations, they reminded everyone that the search was still active and that hope remained alive. Away from the cameras, Hoda continued supporting Savannah in another important way. Late at night, after spending time with her daughters, she turned to social media. Instead of polished promotional posts, she shared heartfelt family photographs of Nancy and Savannah together. Simple captions like "Bring her home" spoke volumes. The posts weren't designed for publicity. They were meant to keep Nancy's story visible. Hoda understood that public awareness could make an enormous difference.